And when she claims that she's walking with Jesus by rejecting what Harrison Butker said, I'd love to see the part where Jesus said things that contradict what Harrison Butker said. I would love to see that, because from my read of the New Testament, as somebody who does not have a dog in intersectional fights, that's not what Jesus said.
Harrison Butker, the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, recently did a speech at a graduation at a Catholic school stating that women have been lied to, and that, a lot of women's happiness is not going to be derived from career success, but more likely through family success and raising children and being a homemaker and things like that. And of course, that set off all of the insane feminists out there, such as Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and the rest of The View. They went, The View went on a crazy rant about, as Ben Shapiro puts it, anti-Catholic bigotry. And it was insane. It was one of the most insane clips I've ever seen from The View and from Whoopi Goldberg. And that's saying a lot. I've covered a whole lot of insane clips from them, and that was one of the most insane ones. Even the other host on The View, even Whoopi Goldberg had to check other people on The View because of how insane they were getting, and Ben Shapiro just absolutely destroys them in this video. Let's check this out. Ben Shapiro going after The View for their insane rant and their, as Ben Shapiro puts it, anti-Catholic bigotry.
The ladies of The View were also fighting mad at Harrison Butker. Again, worth defending. People kneeling for the national anthem because America is bad and racist. People worth attacking. Men who say that men should be men and defend and protect their families, and that women should be women and get married and have babies. And if they want to have a career also, that's fine. But the most fulfilling part of being a woman is getting married and having babies, which again was wildly uncontroversial until 5 seconds ago.
What this man is doing is not just a devout Catholic. This is someone who's practicing something called the traditional Latin Mass, which is a divergent.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
From the majority of Catholics, it's compared to being cult-like and extremist like some religions in the Middle East and Asia. So this is a very extreme religion, and what bothers me about that as a Christian is that when people abuse Christianity, they often not only cherry pick from the Bible, they misinterpret and lie by omission, by taking out parts that would have explained something a little better. So what I can say to him as a Christian is if you're using this to oppress a people or hold them down, you're not walking with Jesus. If you are using the religion, if you are more obsessed with the religious rituals and practices than you are with the word of Jesus, you're not walking with Jesus.
I'm not going to say too much because I've already made a video on this and I just want to go over what Ben Shapiro had to say, but I still have no clue where the hell she is pulling this from. This lady on The View, I don't even know her name, stating that Harrison Butker is using Jesus to oppress people. He didn't say women belong in the kitchen and should never leave the house ever, should never have a job ever. He was just saying that you have been lied to. A lot of you will derive your actual fulfillment from creating a family, being a homemaker, and things like that. He didn't say that you shouldn't be able to work. He's just saying, hey, be open-minded because you might not get that fulfillment that you're seeking from this degree and from this career success that you are looking forward to have, like this school, this society, The View is telling you that you should chase after. Do these women who have great successful careers on this panel right here on The View, do they look happy to you? Do they look fulfilled? I don't think so. It's because they've been lied to as well. They bought into the lies of feminism.
And if you're using it for the judgment of others and as a weapon to beat people down, you're also not walking with Jesus. So I would really encourage him to find the best parts of faith and not diverge into extremist beliefs.
Okay, there's so many insane things about what this lady just said. Seriously. Okay, so first of all, I would love to hear the part of the New Testament where it says that the main priority for women should be to be in the workplace. Does she have a quote there? Like anything? How about the part that's pro-transgenderism or LGBTQ plus minus divided by sign relationships? Like, can she name a verse? And when she claims that she's walking with Jesus by rejecting what Harrison Butker said, I'd love to see the part where Jesus said things that contradict what Harrison Butker said. I would love to see that, because from my read of the New Testament, as somebody who does not have a dog in intersectional fights, that's not what Jesus said or anything remotely close to it. Beyond that, I love when she says the Latin Mass, extremist Latin Mass, like some religions in the Middle East. Why don't you say it out loud, lady? Which religions in the Middle East are we talking about here?
It always goes back to this with Ben Shapiro. It's ridiculous. But somebody tell me in the comments why do women want to be men so badly? Like, why do women get so upset when someone like Harrison Butker just comes out and says, you will probably find most of your fulfillment by being a homemaker as a woman. Why are they like, no, I want to be like a man. I want to get my fulfillment from my career. Why is this so unfair? Like, why? Like, men aren't saying, oh, I guess some men do say like, oh, I wish I could just be a homemaker and like it, you know, this working stuff is so hard. I guess some men do say that, and a lot of men probably do think that deep down, but we get made fun of if we say it out loud. Why are we not making fun of women for saying that they want to be men? But we make fun of men for saying they want to be women, and rightfully so. You should be made fun of if you know, you're saying, oh, this working stuff is just so hard, this money making stuff, this breadwinner stuff is just so difficult, I wish I could just be a stay-at-home dad. Like, yeah, you should get made fun of, dude. Like, go provide for your family. What are you doing? But it also, we should make fun of the other side as well. But of course, Ben Shapiro is going to turn this into, you know, anti that other country in the Middle East over there. He's going to turn this into a Middle East conflict, because that's all Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire really care about.
Which ones are the fundamentalist religions in the Middle East that you're talking about? Are you going to say that out loud? I wonder why not. What stopped you? Right, so in other words, you're allowed to be as anti-Catholic as you want to be, but you can never say the word Islam, ever, 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 under any circumstances. By the way, as far as the Latin Mass, I have a bunch of friends who still practice the Latin Mass. Michael Knowles, a quasi-friend, practices the Latin Mass. Matt Walsh, an acquaintance, practices the Latin Mass. There's nothing wrong with practicing the Latin Mass. The idea this is some sort of extremist, it's literally what the Catholic Church did for 2,000 years until fairly recently. And there are many Catholics who still do it. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's totally fine. Not only is it fine, it was, again, common practice. The outsized outrage for this it's truly extraordinary. You want to Bud Light yourself? Do exactly what the NFL and its supposed allies are doing right now. Here to the attacks on Harrison Butker, who suggests that there are traditional definitions of male and female and masculinity and femininity. Well, let NBC tell you. So yesterday, NBC put out a trailer for a documentary that is called Queer Planet. So here is the documentary from Peacock, which is just...
You know, like, a lot of times when I hear people like Ben Shapiro or anyone else bring up these topics, because I'm like, I'll be honest with you, I don't give a shit about NBC creating Queer Planet. Like, and it's not in the sense of like, oh, I'm just accepting of all whatever the hell. It's just gotten so much to this point where I just can't care anymore. I've ran out of cares to give. But it does make you think, like, there's these things coming out every single day, such as Queer Planet, like Ben Shapiro is about to bring up. There's this stuff coming out every single day. Like, if you wanted to make a video on a new multi-million-dollar show / movie / short film or whatever created by large studios, you could do one every single day. Like I said, I don't care, but it's wild to me that these studios are setting aside budget. They're setting aside time, resources, humans to go and make these things consistently, for them to consistently flop. You know, for people to consistently just roast the crap out of it on social media, on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. For Ben Shapiro and all these other conservatives and the Daily Wire and outside of the Daily Wire to come roast it on their YouTube channels, and nobody gives it positive reviews. I mean, there might be a small subset of people, you know, that's really deep in the woke cult, but nobody is saying, yes, I'm so glad that NBC made Queer Planet. I'm just so glad. I can't wait to watch the next one. Like, I mean, it's just not happening. So why are they setting aside so much time and money and resources to make these things so consistently? It's not just NBC. It's basically all major studios out there are doing this. And it's so consistent. It's happening so much. And even the ones that aren't just Queer Planet, like the shows and movies that aren't dedicated to this stuff, they all have this stuff within them. You know, all of Marvel, all of Star Wars, all of Universal, all of Disney, everything. You know, all of Warner Bros, they all have this stuff in everything that they create, basically.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
The paparazzi really are everywhere.
Everything you were taught as a kid is wrong.
Everything?
Gay penguins, bisexual lions, sex-changing clownfish.
This is a queer planet.
Queerness has always existed.
It's only in humans that we have such a stigma about it.
The idea of just having two fixed sexes is clearly out of style.
Out of style?
Nature is pretty open-minded.
Nature is open-minded.
Kind of spot on, to be honest. It's out of style. It's all an aesthetic. Like, these people don't have any principles or morals or anything. It's just an aesthetic. You know, that's all this is to them. It's a style, like they said.
Sex is not just for reproduction.
It's clear that no matter where you look on our planet, nature is full of queer surprises.
Yeah, animals will have sex with things. If you have a male dog, it's gonna hump everything. Stuffed animals, chairs, couches, other dogs, cats, whatever you put in front of that dog, like, you know, if it's in the right mood, it's gonna hump whatever. Does that mean that we should make up a new sexuality for the dog that humps a chair? Is that dog now queer? Or is it just a normal dog that has a high sex drive and wants to hump things? I hope I'm not saying that too often. I hope that's not a bad word for YouTube or whatever, but that's just how the things work. You know, animals aren't smart enough to discern, oh, this is I mean, I guess, you know, their instincts will tell them, but a lot of times, like, they're just in that mood, so they do stuff, you know, to release that feeling. This is such a weird conversation. Anyway, The View got destroyed by Ben Shapiro. Back to that stuff. Just that the clip of that lady saying that Harrison Butker is using Jesus to oppress women by just telling them they're not going to be as fulfilled as you think. Like, feminism basically has lied to you this whole time and told you that you're going to be fulfilled by going get a job, getting this degree. It's not true for most women. 99% of women, they're not going to be fulfilled by career success, financial success. It's all about homemaking and having children, creating a family, stuff like that. Same goes for men. You've also been lied to. You need to be a man, provide for your family, all that good stuff. You know, all the stuff that has been normal for the last 30 or so years. I mean, until the last 5 years or 10 years or so, as Ben Shapiro puts it, until 5 seconds ago. All this stuff has been completely normal, and now people are having meltdowns on The View with Whoopi Goldberg and the rest of them. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about Ben Shapiro's response to The View. What are you thinking about Queer Planet as well, I guess, if anybody has any cares to give. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this whole The View versus Ben Shapiro situation.